could never see the bills. It was a perfect system for private communication, unless Warren saw both phones together. Yet, despite the danger, Laurel could no longer stand to be apart from her clone phone, even though it hadn't brought her a single message in the past 5 weeks. Realizing that she'd counted past 30, she opened her eyes. The testing stick was fancier than the ones she remembered from college, with a tiny screen like the ones on cheap pocket calculators. No more trying to judge shades of blue to see if you were knocked up. Before her eyes, written in crisp blue letters on the gray background, were the letters P-R-E-G-N-A-N-T. Laurel stared, waiting for a "not" to appear before the other word. It was an infantile wish, for part of her had known the truth without even taking the test. Her 2 tender breasts and the seasick feeling she'd had with her second child. Yet still she waited, with the testing company's new slogan, "We call it the error-proof test," playing in her mind. She must have heard that slogan 20 times during the past week, chirped confidently from the television during inane children's sitcoms and Warren's overheated cop melodramas, while she waited in agony for her period to begin. When the letters on the stick did not change, she shook it the way her mother had shaken the thermometers of her youth. "Pregnant," the letters screamed. "Pregnant, pregnant, pregnant." Laurel wasn't breathing. She hadn't exhaled since the letters first appeared. Had she not been sitting on the toilet, she might have fainted, but as it was, she sagged against the nearby wall, her face cold. The sob that broke from her chest sounded alien, as though a stranger were wailing on the other side of the door. "Mom?" said Grant, her 9-year-old son. "Was that you?" Laurel tried to answer, but no words came. As she covered her mouth with shaking fingers, tears streamed down her face. "Mom?" asked the voice behind the door. "Are you okay?" She could see Grant's thin silhouette through the slats. "No, I'm not, sweetheart. I'm going insane sitting right here on the toilet," she thought. "Dad!" called Grant, staying put. "I think Mom's sick." "I'm not sick, baby," she thought. "I'm watching the goddamn world end." "I'm fine, sweetie," Laurel choked out. "Perfectly fine. Did you brush your teeth already?" Silence now. A listening silence. "You sound funny." Laurel felt herself gearing down into survival mode. The shock of the positive pregnancy test had caused a violent emotional dislocation. From there, it was only a small step to full-blown dissociation. Suddenly, her pregnancy became a matter of academic interest. One small factor to be weighed in the day's long list of deceptions. 11 months of adultery had schooled her well in the shameful arts. But the irony was shattering. They had ended the affair 5 weeks ago, without a single moral lapse since, and now she was pregnant. She shoved the stick back into the EPT carton, carefully fitted the carton back into the tampon box, and stuffed it into the Walgreens bag. After stashing the bag on the floor behind the toilet, she flushed the commode and stood. Grant was waiting beyond the door. His face would be alert for any sign of anxiety in his mother. Laurel had seen that watchful face many times in the past few months, and every time she did, a blade of guilt sliced through her. Grant knew his mother was in emotional turmoil. He knew it better than his father did, being far more perceptive when it came to such things. Laurel carefully wiped away her tears with tissue, then gripped the doorknob, willing her hands to stop shaking. Routine, she thought. Routine will save you. Play your usual role, and no one will notice a thing. It's June Cleaver time again. She opened the door and smiled broadly. Wearing nothing but a Tony Hawk skateboard t-shirt, Grant stood looking up at her like a 9-year-old interrogation specialist, which he was. He had Laurel's eyes in his father's face, but the resemblance grew less marked every day. Lately, Grant seemed to change at the rate of a fast-growing puppy. "Is Beth awake?" she asked. "You know we need to go over your spelling before we leave." Grant nodded irritably, his eyes never leaving her face. "Your cheeks are red," he noted. His usually musical